Alright, what's up everybody? Here I am doing commentary on my first round from this year's Throw Down the Mountain. As you can see, this is hole 1, it's a par 3. I threw my 400 MX3 really low. I was just trying to make sure to get it up off of the hill and didn't accomplish that, unfortunately. Then right here I'm throwing an approach shot trying to save my par and just let it slip out of my hand. Right here I have this putt, got a 20 to 22 footer for par. Not what you want to start the tournament on, but it felt good to make that putt. Now here's hole 2. I am throwing a 400G H3V2 down this left gap. And I just let go of it a little early. I did not mean to throw it that super far left. Then I threw a forehand flex shot with my D1 that landed here. And then this shot I was trying to throw a turnover up the hill, pulled it a little far with my M4, and that actually went out of bounds down the fence just to the right of the screen. Then right here I blocked the camera, but I missed my putt, and that was a double bogey, so not the greatest start. Hole 3 is a par 4. I'm just trying to lay up with my PA3 to get to the bottom of the hill. I missed a couple shots there because I was trying to scramble, but I ended up saving par. Now here's hole 4. It's a 407 foot par 3. Got to go through this gap, across a valley, back up a hill.
Sweet.
This was actually the best drive I've ever thrown on this hole, and although I knew it was going to be an awesome birdie to get, I had PTSD from something that had happened at a tournament the week before, along with this tree that was in my way, so I just decided to lay up and take my par. Now here's hole 5. It's a little short par 3. Looks like that sign says 225 feet. This hole is right next to the road, so you gotta wait for the cars to pass. But I'm throwing my 750 PA3, just trying to make sure to get it high and not pull it into this tree on the right. And I did just that.
Beautiful.
Pretty much exactly what I was trying to draw up. And it left me this 10, 12 footer for birdie.
That is 100% key.
Shout out to Danny for blocking the basket here, but I tapped it in anyways. Hole 6, it's a downhill 269 foot par 3. I did a bad job of aiming the camera to see myself on here, but you can still see my shot. I threw it a little too high, so it faded further left than I wanted, got a little bit around the corner the basket's behind, but it left me this 25, 28 footer for my birdie. Let's see if I can make it. And I did just that. So now I have 2 birdies in a row. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, even I'm not playing bad, not playing great, but it could be worse. Here's hole 7. It's a big dogleg left par 4 that turns back to the right at the end. I'm throwing my 500 FX2 on a hyzer, just trying to make sure to get it in play. There's a lot of sawgrass around the landing area on this hole, and I did not want to be in that. I pushed it a little far, didn't throw it high enough, but it left me this turnover shot, which I shanked right into the tree.
Oh. Heard a solid thump. He got all the way, yeah.
You could hear my card mate Evan tell me, nice shot, and that's because it actually kicked out, and I was able to save my par. Not a great shot, but it could have been worse, just like I said. Here's hole 8, 311 foot par 3. That's my 400 MX3 again. I threw it a little low and I blocked the shot, but it left me this 40 footer here for my birdie.
Yes. Nice.
Again, I blocked the camera. I'm really good at this if you can't tell, but that putt, as it was hyzering in, the top half of the rim hit the bottom corner of the band on the basket, and it elevated it straight down. Now here's hole 9. It's a 434 foot par 3. I'm throwing my 400 D2 Max, just trying to cut it right around the big tree in the middle at the corner, and I was able to save my par off that after that shot left me about 60 feet out. Hole 10, this is, in my opinion, the hardest hole in the course. There are other holes that are hard to par, but this one is this spine hole. You have to keep it on that spine or it's going to be a super hard par. Thankfully, I threw a bad shot, but I didn't throw it into a bad spot. And I was able to throw a little forehand A4 approach to save my par.
Sure.
Hole 11 here, it's a 522 foot par 3 off a cliff. I'm actually, I don't have the strongest forehand, but I was throwing a forehand here. I got an M4 backhand turnover closer in practice, but I knew I'd rather throw a forehand on hole 18, which is a similar shot. So I just decided, let's throw a forehand here, make sure I get it warmed up, because I don't plan on throwing any more forehands for the rest of the round. And it left me about 100 feet out, and I approached for my par.
Wow, tree love.
Hole 12 here, it's a 798 foot par 4. It plays like a par 5 in my opinion. It's the hardest hole in the course. I imported the hole scoring into Excel just to do the scoring averages. It's the hardest hole in the course. I had a lucky drive that hit a tree and kicked me into the open. Then I threw my roller D1, hit some sawgrass, and then here's my A2. I'm trying to approach to save my par. Sawed it off a little, left myself a long putt for par. Not what I wanted, but it's giving me a putt for par. Now right here, I'm sitting at 1 under par. I hadn't missed a putt all round, and I'll be honest, right here, not missing a putt all round got in my head, and I thought about it, and of course I missed the putt. It was a little obstructed with some grass, some of that tall grass right there that was next to me. It was kind of growing out in front of me, so I had to worry about that, but still, like, I should have made that putt. Hole 13, it's a really easy par 4 at 518 feet. I was just throwing my H3V2 to get it in play and give myself an approach shot. Left it a little nose up, a little high, and I faded off to the left, but still, I'm about 120 feet out approaching for trying to get my birdie. Let it go a little early like I did on hole 1 with the same P Model S. That's what I don't think I mentioned that, but that's what I'm approaching with putter shots and putting with. And it left me about this 18-footer for birdie. Now shout out to Evan for almost blocking that. But I missed the putt. At this point, my mind starts wandering. I'm worried about how bad am I letting this slip. But you got to regroup, and that's what I did. Right here, it's a 300. Hole 14 is a 300-foot hole. But with these trees on the right and trying to throw a hyzer over them, and with how far uphill this hole is, it's a lot steeper than it looks on camera, guys. But it's only 300 feet, and I threw a D1. So here I am. I left myself about 30 feet at the edge of the circle long, trying to knock it in for my birdie and get back on the train. As you can see, though, that putt spit straight off the side of the basket. Nubs did nothing to slow it down. If anything, I feel like it sped it up. And so that left me a 40-foot comeback for my birdie, or for my bogey. No, the 40-footer was for my par. Then that par putt, I was just like, okay, get it up. I got it too far up. It hit off the top of the basket and skipped to this putt for my bogey from about 20 feet. That one was a little right side, but still, it kind of spit. I wasn't very happy about this. Now, I'm back to, let's see. This put me back to 2 over par, and I'm not very happy right now. So as you can see, Danny was still walking off the tee when I threw the shot.
Saved you.
I turned that over. This is hole 15, 686-foot par 4.
Bipolar.
It's another one of the hardest holes on the course, but I managed to stay in the fairway, and as you can see right here, I'm really cut off from this corner because the basket's up through this gap, but there's a lot of open space up high on the right as this fairway continues. So I decided, let's just throw a hyzer and see what I can do. I was trying to get it as high and as super far left to crash down as close to the basket as possible, but it left me a 50-footer depth putt, which I laid up. Now here's hole 16. It's only 165 feet. I'm just trying to throw it exactly like that, maybe just 2 feet higher and hopefully skip up. I think, this is Danny. He's blocking the view to me again, but that's a putt I wish I could have had back. Got a par on that one. And here's hole 17. It's a 408-foot par 3. Another really hard hole. I'm throwing an H3V2, just trying to crash it into the right and get in bounds, but I early released it, and I went OB down this left side. And at this point, I haven't birdied in 9 holes. I've taken a couple bogeys. I'm about to trying to get up and down to take just a single bogey, which I did.
Nice.
That's a tap in. But at this point, I wasn't too happy with my round, and I was just trying to regroup. My car mates are laughing here because I was last on the box, and
Let's not ruin the
all
passing
3 of the rest of them had gone out of bounds, and somebody goes, 4 for 4? And I just like, no, guys, no.
75 is passing, y'all. Very nice.
And then I think you might have heard me, I said 75 is passing, talking about percentage of people going out of bounds. Right here, I didn't mention, but I threw that was a forehand with my 400 D1 off the tee just to get myself in position. Here I'm throwing my 400 MX3 again. I threw it really nose up. I didn't throw it hard enough, and as you can see, it's stalled right before the top of the cliff getting up to the green, and I had to take it from down below. I didn't film my next shot because it was a grenade, but it left me this putt for a bogey to finish off my round. And at this point, this round, if I make this, let's see. Yep. So that's a 4 over par, 65. It was like 957 rated, I think. Not the greatest round, but it could have been worse. It left me on the top of 5th card for round 2, which I will have another video coming out pretty soon of. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you in round 2.